And Paul and Robert are here to talk about all this. I mean, what do you say? I mean, this is a stunning piece of work, Paul, but, I mean, it's incredible. What's the reaction from Downing Street and the police tonight? I mean, is there really a possibility of a police investigation now?
Well, let's start with Downing Street first. They're doubling down this evening, Tom. They're repeating essentially the line that you heard several times in my report earlier. There was no party rules that have been followed at all times. I think it's questionable as to whether that stands up to scrutiny now, though, given this fresh video. And for me, it is the tone of that video that's really telling here. Here were senior Downing Street staff laughing, they were joking, arguably in the face of those who were following the rules at that time. And on that day, 691 people passed away with COVID. You've got to ask, where was the moral compass in Downing Street at that moment? As for the legality of what they were or were not doing, well, the police say they will review our footage as they consider whether or not to investigate. But you would assume that surely there is more to look into here.
But forget, you know, what we were all doing, you know, for Christmas. I remember day in, day out that time. You were in care homes, you were reporting on people who couldn't see loved ones. I mean, what's your own personal response when you see that?
But I think this is actually worse than the Dominic Cummings moment because, you know, Downing Street sat back, they watched what happened with Dominic Cummings, they saw the public outrage, and yet it appears they did it again. And as you say, you know, this was a time last year when people were cancelling their Christmases. I was reporting from care homes where people couldn't see their loved ones in their dying days. I had someone speak to me in tears tonight saying they couldn't see their mother. They passed away over Christmas. They couldn't grieve with their family. So people couldn't do the most basic things with the people that they loved, and yet we're led to believe that in Downing Street they were sharing Secret Santa presents, asking us, telling us to follow the guidance, yet seemingly thinking it was a joke themselves.
OK, Robert, can I come to you? I mean, look, we should acknowledge Allegra was once a valued colleague of ours here. Long-term viewers will know that. But there's no way around this. This looks like an absolute catastrophe for the government, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, as I said earlier on today, it's the cover-up that kills you. And, you know, the extraordinary thing, which Paul has just said, is that Downing Street, even tonight, is denying that a party took place, despite the video footage that we've put out, despite the fact that officials have told me and many other journalists that, you know, there was food, wine, Secret Santa games. You know, if it looks like a party, smells like a party, we know what it is. Now, the problem for the Prime Minister is that people are talking within his own party, MPs, that there is too much of a culture of dishonesty, of covering up, of failing to take responsibility. We only have to think back to, as I say, Paul mentioned it, Barnard Castle, the Cummings affair. The fact that Matt Hancock, having been caught in a clinch that broke social distancing rules, doesn't resign for 24 hours. Priti Patel breaks the ministerial code, not punished in any shape or form. And that, I think, is the growing problem for the Prime Minister, that he is a Prime Minister who is, as I say, his instincts are to pretend that something bad hasn't happened. Now, I should point out that, you know, Allegra Stratton was not the only person at this party, a former colleague. And I think there is now a public interest in the government saying what happened at the party, who was there, who failed to cancel it when it became absolutely clear that it was completely inappropriate. And funnily enough, another department, the Department for Education, has actually set them an example tonight. They have coughed up that there was a party on December the 10th, when actually some kinds of work gatherings were allowed, but it still looks bad, and they've apologised. They said they shouldn't have done it. I don't believe the line that Downing Street is promoting that the party didn't happen will hold. The Prime Minister has to come out, take responsibility and punish those who made the mistakes.